Hello everyone, welcome back to our Lonely Minecraft Hardcore, a place where we can all be lonely together. My name is Lonely, and today we're going to start building an awesome Italian village. So let's get started. As you can see from this building right here, these ones over there, and our massive tree farm, we're going to need a lot of terracotta, with a ton of granite and a lot of bricks. So probably the first thing we should do, alongside getting rid of these seeds, there we go, is to head inside the mines, fly towards the slime farm, just so we can grab this beacon. Now steal some iron from the iron farm, 3 stacks should do, and I also wanna convert these poppies to get a ton of red dye, and we can leave the red dye right here. Now off we go into the nether to get back a little bit of XP, just to mend all of our items, and now with these 3 shulker boxes, we can make our way towards the Badlands biome, which should be somewhere around here. There it is. And now we can set up our beacon with haste 1 and start gathering. Alright, and just like this I filled up all of my shulker boxes with terracotta, but I'm sure it's not gonna be nearly enough. So let me fly to this mountain, grab some handy oak, convert everything into oak planks, make a crafting table, some chests, and place everything down, so we have even more storage and we can come back for these items later on. And I just realized that right here we have a ton of coarse dirt, so I think I'm going to grab a little bit. Alright, this should be plenty for now, so let me just grab some more oak, mainly to get rid of these floating trees, and now we can put everything inside the chests. Perfect. And while we're at it, make some more. And now we can continue gathering terracotta. Alright my friends, after a ton of digging, we were able to get a ton more terracotta, but now both my pickaxes are completely out of durability, so I think it's time to pick these shulker boxes back up, put them inside the ender chest, grab all the terracotta that we can, and make our way back home. Back home, we can put all of this terracotta inside some chests, grab our 2 pickaxes, and make our way to the gold farm, so we can mend our items. And now before we go back to gather the remaining terracotta, there's one little thing that I wanted to do since a long time, and that's making our way towards the end by entering this portal, and of course this portal, going through this end gateway, choose one direction, and finally loot a ton of end cities. Well my friends, I think it's montage time. Alright my friends, I think we now have quite a lot of shulker boxes, so it's time to look for an end gateway and make our way back home. Well, I cannot find any other gateway, so as I look for them I might as well raid some more cities. Wow, this is so many end cities next to each other. Unfortunately, still no end gateway to be found. Alright, finally my friends, we can go back home. And back home, let's sleep the night, so that we can see all of the loot that we got. Alright, this took some time, but this right here is everything that we have. With 6 elytras, a ton of diamonds, emeralds, gold and iron, of course a bunch of armor and tools, but most importantly a ton of shulker boxes, and even more shulker shells. And with this little adventure completed my friends, let's make all the shulker boxes that we can, and store them neatly inside this chest. And now we can take 6 shulker boxes, dye them all a different color, place them neatly inside our ender chest, and finally we can make our way back inside the nether, towards the Badlands biome, to grab all of this remaining terracotta, and bring it back home. Awesome, just like that. And before I completely forget, I also wanna grab this beacon so that we can use it whenever we need it. And now we can make our way back home so we can start planning out this beautiful Italian city. So the first thing we have to do is add a bunch of chests, label them with item frames, and this is going to be our handy storage system for the whole build. And this time I'm going to try to stay organized. Now with an ender chest right here, I'm also going to add a place for a couple of shulker boxes. And now it's time to organize this whole thing so we're ready for building later. This is gonna take some time, but I'll see you when it's done. Awesome, and with most of what we need sorted out, we can make our way to the tree farm because we're going to need a ton of spruce to start working on this build. And now the only thing missing is the granite and the bricks. Let's see what we can do to gather some. Alright, and after some gathering, this is all the granite that we have, which I must admit, it's not quite a lot. But for the sake of planning out this town, it should be plenty. So let's pick these shulker boxes back up and put them inside our ender chest. And now using some cobblestone, let's plan this build together. I think it's fitting to start with this building right here, which is gonna be some sort of warehouse to store all our items. And this is going to join to the path right here. I think I just run into my first little issue, that because this whole area is not really terraformed, it's practically impossible to build on these hills. So temporarily let me just get rid of this cobblestone, grab this dirt instead, and this grass, and let's start terraforming this whole thing to make it much easier for building. Awesome, and this seems to be much more workable already, so we can get rid of this dirt and this grass and everything else that we found in between and grab the cobblestone again. And because I've had some time to think about the smartest way to do this, I think we should actually start with the path, so we have a nice guide on the outline of this city. And I think it would be awesome to build something along this cliffside. So I just wanna flatten this whole area to make it much easier for building. Alright, much better. And I think that like this, most of the path is done. There's probably some spots missing right here, and maybe some more in the middle right there, but we're gonna worry about them as we build the village. So finally, my friends, using this cobblestone, let's plan these buildings out. Starting from the warehouse, making our way down in the middle, where we should have a nice little fountain, and some more houses here and there. And this should be good for the buildings around the fountain. Now making our way over there, let's keep adding some more buildings. Oh yes, my friends, and I think this village is really starting to take shape. I'm trying my luck with some diagonal house design, which I rarely worked on, but now all that we can keep doing is add even more houses so that this whole area is completely full. And I want this village to make the village on the mountain seem absolutely tiny. Let's see if we can accomplish this. Hello my friends, welcome back. This took quite some time, but let's see how we did. Making our way from the storage system all the way to the cliff, we can see this massive village, or at least its foundations, extending as far as the eye can see. Hello buddy. And I must say that this village is truly massive. And this is just the foundations. As soon as we build all of the houses, this is really gonna start to come to life. What I would really like to do right now is take some terracotta. Actually, before I should probably get rid of all of these items I don't need. There we go. So now we can take some terracotta, some orange terracotta as well, with some white terracotta, and some smooth sandstone, and maybe some light gray terracotta as well. Because I would love for the village to have a lot of color variation. Oh, and this reminds me, I also want to place a crafting table down with a stone cutter on top and make some red terracotta. And all I want to do is add an extra layer of terracotta on top of every foundation. Starting with the red one. Now let's add in some sandstone. Now we can add some orange terracotta. And now let's finish coloring all of the other houses. Alright, there we go, this seems to be like enough color. The only color missing right now is this nice yellow terracotta, so let's see if we can find some yellow dye. There we go, here it is. And I also collected some other items that I found. So now back at the village, let's get rid of all of this granite and make a ton of yellow terracotta. And now let's finish coloring this whole village up. Oh yes, and just like this, all of the colors have been added. Well, with the foundations completely done, I think it's time we work on the buildings one by one and see how far we can get. And seeing that we started with this building, let's continue this trend by making this warehouse the first building that we completely finish. Starting by adding some height to these walls, with some more color variation, some more depth, and I think I'm also gonna replace all of this cobblestone. Now we can add a nice little roof. Awesome, something like this should do. Now we need a couple windows here and there that we can fill up with some fences. Now let's change this floor to something much nicer, much better. And just like this, I would say the first house is completely done. Now let's try to make this little path look a lot better. And for it I'm going to need a lot of stone, some stone bricks, some andesite, some polished as well, and a bunch of cobblestone as well. And now let's slowly get rid of this floor, replace it with the stone. Now we can craft some stairs, so that we can use them for going up and down. Alright, and now we can go up and down with a lot of ease. And now with this beautiful walkway completed, we can continue to build up the houses on this cliff, starting by putting the path in place. There we go. And now with some light grey terracotta and some white terracotta and some more blocks, we can work on this little house right here, starting by raising the walls and probably adding a little door with a floor, a nice little second floor, a nice little roof, some windows, some light on the inside, and some more decoration. We can also call this little building done. Now let's get some normal terracotta and work on this diagonal building right here. Awesome, another nice little cliff house. Now for this orange connector building, which is gonna connect this staircase to this one right here, that's gonna go all the way back to the mine. We want to grab some orange terracotta and some yellow terracotta, and as always start bringing everything up. This time I'm going to go all in for the second floor. Instead of doing it one little section, it's going to be all filled in. Now working on the roof. Awesome, there we go. And now with these 4 buildings done, despite it not being particularly much in the grand scheme of things, we can definitely start to see this whole village take shape. Well, let's make our way down and work on this nice red house right here. And the red house is now done, and this is how it looks from afar. I had to add some artificial structures at the bottom of this cliff to make it so that this house had something more solid to stand on. And of course I also tweaked a little bit this path to make it much easier to walk down from. And as you can see, I really want this whole village to feel like it's extremely dense. And although I'm used to leaving a ton of space between all of my builds, I really can't leave any space between these ones. And that's quite a challenge. But with this house done, we can safely move to the house next to it. I really love the way that this little village came out. And now for the last house of this cliff, I have to go ahead and work on this little sandstone house. So let's grab some sandstone, make some stairs and some slabs, and of course start bringing all of the walls up. Maybe one more block. And because we're probably going to access the house from down here, let's make a little entrance and also replace this cobblestone with much needed sandstone. Now we can add the floor with a stair and a door, and I like the idea of having a tiny up section right here, just like this. And of course we can change this dirt to sandstone. Now we can add some windows all around with fences. And because I think these designs look very good from below, but a little bit too similar from above, I think it's time we do something different for the roof. Awesome, something like this should do. But because right now it kind of looks like a sandcastle, let's add some much needed decoration. Alright, much better. And to finish everything off, let's work a little bit on this path. With a combination of stone, polished andesite, mossy cobblestone, regular cobblestone, stone bricks, and finally a little bit of andesite. Oh yes! And with this last house done, my friends, and this cliff completely changed, it's time to move on to the next section of the video. That's right, the naming. And I would like to say real quick that if you want me to name anything in this hardcore world, you just have to leave me a little comment down below. Well, let's go! First things first, I would really like to thank my friend Tony for buying me a pizza by donating $5 to the channel. If you appreciate the content and can afford to support financially, you can always do so right there. So thank you very much, Tony. Next up, my friend Game King asked me to name my netherite helmet Emerald Crown, so there you go, my friend. And we can put it back on our head. And my friend Hybrid Dinosaur suggested an amazing name for this massive tree that we built last episode, so let's welcome Stumpy. Thank you very much, my friend, for this amazing name. And inside our trophy room, a little door block named after you. There you go. And my friend Ludwig would like me to name a wolf inside this cave, but because they already all have a name, let's go ahead and breed Lonely and Lulu. There we go. And name this little buddy Commander Wolf. And I would also like to dye his little color gray. Because of his big head we cannot see it, but we will as soon as Commander Wolf grows up. And last but definitely not least, my friend Villager asked me to bring our water horse that was once right here, but now has somehow made his way right there, in a little house inside this cave. So I think we have some work to do. First of all, let's bring our friend Axolotis closer to the hole. Right here should be fine. And now let's build a little something for him down there. Oh yes, my friends, and now with this little stable done, let's grab some wheat to give our friend Axolotis some food, and of course a little source of light, to make sure that he's always safe. Now we can temporarily block the water, grab Axolotis, and slowly make our way down, and now towards his new home. Alright, there we go. Now we can remove this little pathway, bring the water back, and now Axolotis has a new home, suspended on this huge cliff. Thank you very much, Villager, for this amazing idea. Well, my friends, despite wanting to finish this whole village right now, I'm afraid we'll have to wait until the next video, because it's already quite late for me and this episode has to come out pretty soon. So I wanna thank you all so very much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in our next lonely hardcore episode. Conveniently, the sun is setting, so I wanna wish you all an incredible day, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye bye.